Hey guys, it's Dr. Denney over at Four Paws at Fulshear Veterinary Clinic, and today my technician Lindy and I are going to be chatting about how to have a fun and healthy, loving dog.
How does the ideal activity level for a dog change based on age and breed?
Okay, so great question. So most dogs, when they're puppies, are going to have lots of excess energy and then they're going to sleep. So it's kind of like human babies. They're going to play, sleep, eat, potty. Play, sleep, eat, potty. So as puppies, they're gonna have these periods of like tons of vivacious energy, followed by like times of like sleeping. Okay, so that's very normal. Once you get to be an adult, okay, especially with our smaller breeds, that energy level will kind of even out a little bit. They won't sleep quite as much unless you're at work during the day, and then they will sleep a little more during the day. As far as breeds go, I always say that your lab puppy will not be calm until they reach 2 to 3 years of age. And that's like a regular lab. If you're getting like a field trial lab or a hunting dog, they're gonna keep that high energy level forever until arthritis kicks in.
What health problems can arise in dogs that don't get enough activity?
So they can get overweight. Okay, that is a huge issue in the United States with our pets, is that we feed them too much. And it's so easy because they get so happy. And I am 100% guilty of it. You know, if I get the puppy dog eyes from my dog right next to the table, even though they're not supposed to be in the kitchen table, that's a whole nother story. They might get something off our plates, maybe once every couple weeks I will cave because they look at you with those big puppy eyes and it just happens. Or you give them their dinners and they still look like they're starving, so you give them more. But weight gain is a real problem. So having inactivity, if we're not cutting their calories back, overweight gain is going to be an issue. Also, older dogs who have arthritis, who don't stay active, that arthritis actually gets worse. So it's very similar in people. There's a reason why people who are older with arthritis will make sure they stay active, because the more you move, the better you feel. So older dogs, it is also important for them to stay active.
How does a dog's activity level affect their behavior?
Okay, so high activity levels. So if we have like a GSP, or German short hair pointer, they are going to bounce off the walls. They can't focus. They're meant to be hunting dogs, so as a result, they have high energy, high drive. So when they're put into like a home scenario as a pet, it's like squirrel, and they're just gonna bounce off the walls. So as far as like breed wise, and activity level, they're going to be very high drive. Now, if we get, a dog that was more bred or tolerates, being a pet or a house pet better, like a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, which is what one of my dogs is, she just chills. She can get up and go for a walk and it's not a big deal, but she's also really good just hanging. Our 2 hunting dogs that are Boykin Spaniels, they need exercise. Like right now, my dog is here at the clinic and he's doing this because he's here and he wants to be at home doing things. That's like your high energy level. So it does affect very much like their personality and kind of their desire. And when they get bored, so our hunting dogs especially, or like our Vizslas or greyhounds, or like dogs that are used or bred for high physical activity, if they're not getting this physical activity and this enrichment to stimulate their brains, they're going to make bad puppy life decisions, and they might eat things that they're not supposed to. They can tear up things that they're not supposed to, get into the trash, eat your shoes. I pulled the top out of a Kong out of a Mastiff puppy's stomach 2 weeks ago because she was bored. A tired puppy is a well-behaved puppy. A well-enriched dog that gets exercise is going to be less likely to get into trouble.
What are some fun activities I can do with my dog?
Oh, so like anything almost. Going for a walk, going for a drive, going for a hike, just make sure you carry water. When you are outside walking, you also, if it's super hot outside, if it is too hot to touch your palms to this pavement, it is too hot to walk your dog. So early morning, late in the evening during the summertime. They can go run alongside you when you're biking. Just make sure they're on soft ground. If you bike too much on hard ground, their paw pads can get rubbed raw, so something to keep an eye on. They can go out on the boat with you. They can go swimming with you. You can take them to certain restaurants will allow you to bring your dogs. Just make sure you do have a leash and bring a bowl. Most restaurants that do allow dogs will go ahead and pour your dogs some water, so just make sure they're not getting overheated. Starbucks does puppuccinos. We don't want to do that if our dog has like a sensitive stomach. But if you have, a dog that, eats everything and is a garbage disposal, then going for a puppuccino, once every couple months is going to be a huge treat. And it's a really bonding experience for you and your dog.
What if my dog is lethargic and won't exercise?
So we want to call the veterinarian. So you can give us a call and bring, if that's a deviation from what their normal is, and that is them telling you that something's not right. Our pets cannot tell us when things are wrong, so we have to rely on these very subtle signs that they're not feeling well. So if your dog usually greets you when you get home and he or she is not there, and instead they're laying down in a corner, that's abnormal. If that's their normal. If you have a little dog that jumps on and off furniture all the time and, wants to be on and off everything, like a little miniature pinscher or a little chihuahua or a dachshund, and all of a sudden, we're not doing any of that activity and we're just kind of crouched low to the ground, we're lethargic, something's wrong. Usually it has to deal with there's pain somewhere. They don't feel well. So it's best to get them in to see a veterinarian. As always, early intervention is key. If you notice it and it's at night, you can keep them quiet and come in the next morning, but please don't give it like 2 or 3 or 4 days, because if they are in pain, just because they're not whining or crying, doesn't mean that they're not hurting. They're telling you they're hurting simply by not doing what they normally do. Like, for instance, if I see a patient who's limping, first thing that a lot of owners are going to tell me, well, he's limping, but he's not in pain. And my response is going to be, well, what do you do when you stub your toe? Well, I limp. Why do you limp? Because it hurts. So it's funny because in our brains, we don't always go there, but that is the dog or cat telling us that they don't feel well or something hurts. So any deviation of normal activity is something that we need to be seen by a veterinarian. So I hope you guys learned some interesting things today, and join us for our next video.